Welcome! The Office of the Chief Data Officer and the Texas Department of Information Resources are proud to offer this course on data sharing best practices. In this course, we will talk about some of the benefits of sharing data, some challenges you might encounter with data sharing initiatives, and some best practices to help mitigate those challenges. The benefits of data sharing are many, but ultimately include improved decision-making to advance an organization's mission and goals, more efficient and effective provision of services, detection and prevention of fraud, waste, and abuse, cost savings, and increased transparency and constituent trust. Sharing data across government organizations and departments provides a more comprehensive view of what services are being utilized by what people, and therefore has the potential to transform how policies are made and how services are delivered. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many families lost access to free or reduced-price meals through school nutrition programs. A data-sharing effort between the Texas Department of Agriculture, the Texas Education Agency, and the Texas Health and Human Services Commission integrated the data needed from different transactional sources to determine eligibility for the Pandemic Electronic Benefit Transfer Program and provide food benefits that would have otherwise been unavailable due to school closures. Sharing data among relevant stakeholders can greatly enhance the analysis and understanding of potential natural disasters by combining data to identify trends, patterns, and anomalies not possible by analyzing one organization's data alone. For example, data sharing efforts between the Texas Geographic Information Office, or TexGeo, the United States Geological Survey, or USGS, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, allows emergency responders to see and understand the impacts of riverine flooding on buildings, property, and people. NOAA incorporates data developed and provided by TexGeo to improve accuracy of their flood models. The USGS combines the NOAA flood models with TexGeo's building data and street address and parcel data to determine the severity of a flood event. This integration allows emergency responders to provide appropriate services to the right people and to the right place. Sharing data with the public also has its benefits. Publishing open or public data on the Texas Open Data Portal, the state's central repository for public data, can significantly enhance an organization's ability to fulfill data sharing requests made under the Texas Public Information Act, saving time and resources. Further, the platform provides a secure method for sharing data and provides all data consumers access to consistent information. While the benefits of sharing data are many, organizations may face challenges that hinder the ability to effectively share and use data. For example, individuals are often unaware of what data is available and what it can be used for. Individuals may be unsure of what data can be freely shared and what data is protected according to privacy and security laws and regulations. Individuals may need data that is housed in siloed systems with no common architecture and is not interoperable, making data integration activities difficult. Individuals may be unaware of available data sharing platforms with proper privacy and security protocols. Individuals are often unsure of the legal processes or requirements necessary for sharing protected data. Individuals may be resistant to change, making it difficult to secure approvals for data sharing initiatives from leadership and stakeholders. While challenges can interfere with an organization's ability to share data, both internally and with other organizations, there are some best practices that may address those challenges and allow organizations to capitalize on the benefits of sharing data. In this course, we will discuss several best practices related to data management, data sharing platforms, legal processes, as well as cultural considerations. Key among these best practices is the adoption of a robust data management program. As part of an overall data strategy that supports data sharing initiatives, organizations can focus on the implementation of data catalogs that allow data to be discoverable and describe how it can be used, the development and communication of classification policies and procedures that describe how data and information is handled and protected, and the establishment of standards to encourage common data architectures and enable interoperability between data systems. Data catalogs provide a way to inventory and organize information about data assets so data can be used for strategic advantage. Regardless of what tool is used to inventory data or what capabilities the tool has, data catalogs can provide information about data assets to allow users to find data available within the organization and to view the metadata to understand where the data came from, what it means, who can access and use it, and for what approved purposes. Data catalogs can also provide indications of data quality and frequency of usage to help users understand which data assets might be the most appropriate to use and share. Data classification is the process of organizing data into different categories based on its level of sensitivity and the degree to which it needs to be protected. In Texas, data classification follows standards that have been set by the legislature and managed through the Texas Administrative Code. Specific data classification terms can look unique to each organization, but generally, organizations will categorize data into 4 types: public, sensitive, confidential, and regulated. The purpose of data classification is to ensure that sensitive or protected information is not disclosed accidentally or inappropriately, and receives protection according to relevant laws, regulations, and organizational policies. Data classification provides clear guidelines for who can access and use which types of data and under what circumstances. A best practice is to classify an organization's data at the data element level, as well as at the system or database level, since not all data elements within a dataset will have the same classification. It is also a best practice to incorporate classification information into an organization's data catalog to make sure all data users know what data can be freely shared, what data can be shared under limited circumstances, and what data should remain protected. In lieu of a data catalog, data users should have access to documented information regarding the classifications of the datasets they use, so they can better understand what and when data is appropriate to share. The lack of standardization and interoperability can also hinder data sharing initiatives. Data is often housed in siloed systems with no common architecture or standard data and file formats, and sharing and use often cannot proceed without labor-intensive data cleansing and formatting activities. These activities can introduce risks such as data errors and reduce data quality. The use of standardized data and file formats and naming conventions improves the consistency of data across systems and facilitates more accurate results when integrating data from different sources. For example, dates can be collected and stored in different formats, such as 01/31/2023 or January 31, 2023. And county names can be collected and stored in a variety of naming conventions, such as full names, abbreviations, or codes. Integrating datasets is difficult and time-consuming when there is no commonality between datasets. As a best practice, an organization can establish policies and procedures describing methods of collecting and storing data elements to promote consistency across datasets and systems. Likewise, data cleansing standards promote consistent processes when profiling, transforming, and cleaning data for analytic use. Data cleansing activities are often done on an ad hoc basis and introduce the risk of inconsistency both within and between datasets if no standards are in place. Standard processes for activities such as removing duplicate or irrelevant observations in the data, adjusting structural errors or inconsistencies, filtering unwanted outliers where appropriate, and addressing missing data can improve the consistency and accuracy of data, as well as improve the results of analyses performed during data sharing efforts. When sharing data within or outside of an organization, there is often a question of where to store large amounts of data where all parties in the data sharing process have access and all proper privacy and security protocols are in place. One available option for non-protected data is the Texas Open Data Portal, or ODP, hosted by the Texas Department of Information Resources. Texas Government Code Chapter 2054 designates the ODP as the official central repository for publicly accessible electronic data and directs state governmental organizations with more than 150 full-time employees to post at least 3 high-value data sets on the ODP. Open data refers to data made available in a standard machine-readable format that allows the public to search, extract, organize, and analyze the data. High-value data refers to information that can be used to increase state agency accountability and responsiveness, improve public knowledge of the agency and its operations, further the core mission of the agency, create economic opportunity, or respond to need and demand as identified through public consultation. Publishing data to the ODP provides an economic benefit to governmental entities and the public as it reduces the number of public information requests, decreases overhead associated with handling the requests, and generally improves the data user experience for accessing open data managed by state agencies. The Open Data Portal can be found at data.texas.gov. If you have any questions about sharing data on the ODP, contact the Texas Open Data Portal team at txopendataportal@dir.texas.gov. As data published on the ODP is intended for public consumption, only publicly accessible data should be made available. However, an organization may have a need to share sensitive, confidential, or regulated data. The Closed Data Portal, or CDP, is a private, secure data sharing platform for certain protected data. Individual CDP instances can be used for data sharing between departments within the same organization, or between multiple organizations. Each CDP instance is in a private, secure environment and is not accessible by other CDP instances, users, or the public. To learn more about how the Closed Data Portal can help with your data sharing efforts, contact the Office of the Chief Data Officer at ocdo@dir.texas.gov. The open and closed data portals are just 2 examples of efficient and secure data sharing opportunities using cloud platform technologies. Cloud platforms make use of computing resources available over the Internet to provide access to data without requiring internal or on-premises storage systems. Cloud-based platforms promote data sharing and collaboration with regulated access permissions to facilitate sharing of relevant information. Platforms are scalable to handle large amounts of data and have backup strategies and disaster recovery approaches to protect against loss. Cloud-based platforms are available in public, private, and hybrid options. A public cloud environment, such as the Texas Open Data Portal, is openly shareable and can be accessed by many individuals and organizations. A private cloud environment, such as the Texas Closed Data Portal, is protected and dedicated for use by only the individuals, departments, divisions, or organizations who are authorized access. Hybrid cloud environments combine both public and private options depending on the data sharing need. The Texas Department of Information Resources Texas Data Center Services program allows state and local governmental agencies to outsource management of technology infrastructure services and provides secure connectivity to select public and private clouds. More information can be found on the Texas Data Center Services website, or consult with your Chief Technology Office to find out what cloud-based platforms might be appropriate and available to your organization. As state agencies and institutions of higher education continue to amass large amounts of data, adherence to complex data privacy laws and regulations and security protocols becomes increasingly nuanced. To enhance awareness of data sharing best practices, organizations can provide training to employees that provides insight into the laws and regulations impacting the use of data specific to the organization, and to the policies and procedures that enable legal, appropriate data sharing both within and between organizations. Training in ethical data handling can also increase trust in the data sharing process. Legal processes may vary from organization to organization, and data users should consult with their legal counsel to gain an understanding of the requirements specific to the data within their organization. However, some general information on data sharing agreements and the Texas Statewide Data Exchange Compact is presented here. Organizations should enter into a contractual agreement before sharing sensitive, confidential, or protected data. Depending on the organization and type of data shared, certain laws may require specific terms for data use agreements, business use agreements, memorandums of understanding, or other types of legal agreements to share data. Typically, agreements will include a description of the data being shared, the purpose for sharing the data, the parameters under which the data may be used, citation of the law or regulation that provides the authority to share the data and for what purpose, and agreement by all parties that the sharing and use of the data complies with relevant privacy laws and regulations. Agreements may also include information security requirements and details about the method of transferring the data. Organizations wishing to enter into a data sharing agreement should have policies and procedures describing the process for implementing the legal agreement, requirements for compliance with privacy regulations and security measures, and a description of the roles and responsibilities of all parties involved in data sharing initiatives. Collaboration with the organization's privacy officer and information security officer or similar roles, and regular review of privacy laws and regulations and security requirements are essential to keep abreast of new legal requirements and emerging security threats. To facilitate a consistent method of compliance with state and federal laws and regulations regarding data sharing and data security, the Texas Department of Information Resources established the Texas Statewide Data Exchange Compact, or TSDEC. The TSDEC is a uniform data sharing and data security agreement for participating Texas state agencies and institutions of higher education. It contains the standard terms and conditions applicable to all agencies interested in data sharing and exchange. Once executed by all parties, the TSDEC enables a more efficient and effective process for sharing data. The TSDEC contains two components. The main uniform agreement includes basic terms and conditions applicable to all data sharing agreements. By using the TSDEC, agencies can streamline the preliminary procedures and conversations between the disclosing and receiving agencies. Participating agencies may utilize the second component, which is designed to allow the program areas to add specific statutory, regulatory, or other limitations applicable to the particular data being shared by the agency. The TSDEC may not contain all the required terms that an organization needs to allow data sharing due to program-specific laws and regulations around data. Organizations should consult with their legal counsel to determine what is required to comply with these various laws. For more information on participating in the TSDEC, contact the Office of the Chief Data Officer at ocdo@dir.texas.gov. Executive support is integral to the success of data sharing initiatives. However, leadership and stakeholders may underestimate the advantages data sharing provides to the organization and to its constituents, making the allocation of time and resources a low priority if no clear business benefits are evident. As a result, data sharing requests are often discouraged or denied. Mitigating this challenge often requires cultivating an organizational culture of continuous improvement and innovation. Securing approvals for data sharing initiatives often requires change management. Change management is a structured approach for communicating the benefits of sharing data, engaging stakeholders in the decision-making process, addressing potential concerns, and clearly defining the necessary resources and processes to support the initiative. Showcasing scenarios where sharing data is a critical and measurable factor in the organization's success can help build support and increase buy-in from critical decision-makers. Defining success demonstrates the value of sharing data, encourages wider adoption, and builds trust to foster a culture of data sharing within the organization. Cultural barriers to sharing data may also be due to inconsistencies in communicating about data. Enhancing data literacy among all data users, including critical decision makers, serves to promote the use of a common, consistent language to improve communication and minimize misunderstanding, especially between data and information producers and data and information consumers. Organizations that encourage data literacy education and professional development for all data users within the organization may have more successful data sharing initiatives than organizations that do not. Data sharing serves as a powerful tool for Texas state agencies and institutions of higher education. By recognizing and mitigating data sharing challenges, organizations improve decision-making, provide better services, detect and prevent fraud, waste, and abuse, realize cost savings, and increase transparency and constituent trust, which improves outcomes for both the organization and the public. You have now completed the Texas Data Literacy Program course on data sharing best practices. During this course, we have discussed some of the benefits of sharing data, some challenges you might encounter with data sharing initiatives, and some best practices to help mitigate those challenges. For more information on data governance and data management principles, visit the Office of the Chief Data Officer website.